A lot of people choosing to maybe over the summer go to Italy, Spain, go do the Mediterranean. You can have the food, you can have that diet right here in Ottawa and around the world. And joining us is registered nutritionist Andrea Holwegner. Great to have you back on our show.
Thank you.
And as soon as I saw Mediterranean diet, I was like, oh good, yummy, because I love eating this way. And,
Sure.
and it's a wonderful way to eat.
It is. You know, it's rare that both dietitians, chefs, and environmentalists actually agree on something. And when we look at the Mediterranean diet, lots of great culinary cuisine, and certainly one of the healthiest diets in the world.
What is the base for the Mediterranean diet?
So when we think of the Mediterranean diet, we think plant-based food. So when you look at our display here, you've got lots of just really fresh, good quality ingredients. The Mediterranean is, of course, known for pastas, breads, couscous, bulgur wheat, and then, of course, all your fruits and vegetables. You think of things like your arugulas and your eggplants, tomatoes. And then, of course, healthier fats in the Mediterranean region, right? So we think of things like your olive oils, your nuts and seeds. You know, if you were in the Mediterranean right now, you would see like lots of oil and fats floating in your meal. And, you know, not all fat is bad for us. We want people to get those good, heart-healthy fats in.
I think people, they get confused as to what they should be having, what they should be consuming. And so this is beautiful. I mean, there's so much, the fresh aspect is key. And we can find so many of these things right here in our own environment.
Absolutely. You know, the Mediterranean diet is wonderful for reducing overall obesity risk, for heart disease risk. They first started studying the Mediterranean diet about 50 years ago in what's called the 7 countries study. And they looked at 13,000 men at the time, and researchers evolved to us.
But it's the women, the Mediterranean women, they just carry themselves it's so well. So it was a study mostly done with the men.
Yeah.
But it started 50 years ago.
50 years ago is where it all started. And they found that in the Mediterranean region, this type of diet really reduced cardiovascular disease. And since then, researchers have really been studying not only the cardiovascular benefits, but the cancer reduction, diabetes, and it keeps us full. We've got good sustained energy here from all of these great foods.
So, I mean, we take a mixture here, and of course you still have your fish, you've got your veggies. The pasta still comes into play here. I mean, and it's true. You think about that, right? They got their pasta, they got their bread. You would assume that it continues with that diet.
Sure, absolutely. So if you think of Mediterranean-inspired types of meals, you could take something like a great quality pasta. You know, there's obviously a product here we're talking about called Barilla Plus, which is a multigrain style pasta with some additional fiber and omega-3 and extra protein added, which is great for just good extra nutrition. But think about, you know, starting with a pasta, chop up some fresh tomatoes, maybe a little ricotta cheese or bocconcini cheese, a little drizzle of olive oil. I'd probably
really
toss
right
in
now,
some olives in there. Good, fresh ingredients and really fast to make. You don't need anything super fancy when we're talking Mediterranean.
Now, do you need to think, I mean, that you're doing the Mediterranean style, or just follow through? Because these are things that are available and that we could do.
Absolutely. Easy enough to do. You could take a pizza crust and you could toss some arugula with a little olive oil, a little crushed sea salt, some lemon, toss that over top a sort of a sauteed mushroom on a pizza crust. Wonderful Mediterranean style pizza, and again, not complicated. It's just really starting off with those fresh ingredients.
Was this something that you've chosen? I mean, as a registered nutritionist, you see such a variety of different meal plans coming through.
Sure.
Is this something that when you're speaking with your clients, that start with this space and then go from there?
Absolutely, and you know, there's so many different ways to eat healthy, but you know, I'm a foodie, so naturally, you know, I'm going to be excited by the Mediterranean region. If I had to pick only one area to live in the world, it would probably be California or the Mediterranean. They've got great fresh ingredients and so tasty, so you can't really go wrong.
This is pretty good. Okay, so a wonderful example. You've got so much here. So this is really the display. Take a good picture of this, and these are the items you want in your grocery cart.
You got it. Heavy plant-based cuisine, your grains, your produce, your healthy fats, small quantities of your lean proteins, your seafoods, and that is going to set the stage for a great Mediterranean diet.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to you setting the stage too, because a little bit later on you're going to be breaking some of these pasta myths.
Yes.
Right? Because we were talking breads and pastas, and so I think you've got some great ideas and some interesting concepts for you to think about as you're heading by that carb section and to know what to do with it and what to understand. So looking forward to that with you, Andrea,
Great.
in just a little bit.